Sam with Standardized Field Systems. Thank you so much for coming and joining us today to talk as part of the Edmonton Unlimited and the Startup Week and launch party. Really excited to talk to you about this new and innovative way that you guys are addressing a problem or making things easier in the police force.
Yep.
And your roots in the startup and the entrepreneurial sector and ecosystem are so much wealth and value to the city, and now here you are bringing something here with Edmonton Unlimited. So super excited to have you on. Thanks for joining us.
I'm really excited too. This is a wild week ahead with Startup Week, and I mean, just being a part of the energy that's around our innovation and startup ecosystem. I love being in Edmonton, especially this time of year.
That's awesome. Right on. So Standard Field Systems, take us through what this product is and how it works.
Yeah, so we've built a tool set for sworn officers at the roadside to collect digital evidence, specifically for a process called the Standardized Field Sobriety Test. Now, the Standardized Field Sobriety Test, or SFST, is a universal protocol that's used in law enforcement around the world, in Canada, in the US, in the UK, and Australia, and in many other countries. Originally developed in the 90s by the National Association of Chiefs of Police, it's focused on a set of physical tests at the roadside for officers to perform if they believe somebody is intoxicated. And chances are you've seen that test deployed on TV or in the movies. It's a battery of 3 tests, an eye tracking test, a balance test, and a motor skills test. And where this came from for us is we were working with law enforcement on another project, and we were part of the task force to legalize cannabis in 2017. And part of the outcomes from the recommendations of the legalization task force was we need better tools at the roadside to deal with impairment. And not just alcohol, but with the legalization of cannabis. And now as we look at kind of other products that are becoming decriminalized, law enforcement needs more and more effective tools to be able to keep citizens safe. What's really interesting about this is building this tool. We did it in partnership with law enforcement, with Edmonton Police and with our partners at York Regional Police. So working with law enforcement, getting so much input from them, we've realized that we're actually making their jobs more effective, building transparency and keeping citizens safer.
That's wild. Holy smokes. Now, there's also a reporting aspect to the system as well that's supposed to ease and streamline the process for these officers when they get back to the office, or if they have to go to court afterwards. You've got some GPS in here so they can track this. How does this all work? And like kind of take us through those portions.
Yeah, you bet. So when an officer does a stop, they would go through the SFST process, gather that information through a mobile device. We collect that information, and like you mentioned, there's geotagging and auditing information that's collected at the roadside, and that's coupled with things like body cam and other data sources for the sworn officer. When they go back to the station, and let's say there is an arrest that has been performed, they typically spend a couple of hours building their case reporting. Well, because we have all that data in an auditable format, we're able to help them produce that report really, really quickly, and it becomes part of the evidence chain for them in the future. What's wonderful is that the average law enforcement officer doesn't love writing reports. That is not why they've become an officer.
Okay.
They want to be working with citizens. They want to be engaging with the community. They want to be creating value for the community around them. And so what we're doing is helping them focus on the things that are most valuable for you or I or our families.
Right on. And then that makes, if they do have to go to court, it just makes everything auditable. Like, if it's coupling with those body cams and so on and so forth, it makes everything being able to be audited. And accuracy is just that much more in getting a conviction if they need to, and so on and so forth.
I mean, that's an important part, and it's not just around convictions.
Right.
If I think about kind of the why behind this, every 39 minutes in the US and Canada, somebody dies in a impairment-related crash. and that may be the driver, the person who's inebriated, or it may be a victim within that scenario. And last year alone, in the U.S. and Canada, over 1 million charges were laid around related to impairment, motor vehicle impairment. Now, this could be alcohol related or drug related, of course, and so part of our goal with building better tools for law enforcement is making sure that we can reduce deaths at the roadside. So it's not just around enforcement. There's a component around protection that I think is also really important, and prevention.
Yeah.
And so as we're gathering data, that geographic data can be used for law enforcement to understand where are they deploying their impairment tests, where can they be in a place to help prevent potential incidents in the future, and how can that tie into other data sets that they're using from a crime prevention and protection perspective.
Gotcha. Now, you've mentioned you've got some of this deployed out in York, was it?
That's right. Yeah, Our first customer is York Regional Police. We worked with them on a pilot where they helped us validate a lot of the assumptions that we had made together. We deployed it in production or at the roadside with several platoons of their officers, and now they're customer number one for us.
Yeah.
They've been an incredible partner for us in helping us understand the marketplace.
Yeah.
And we're now working with deploying our tool set in a number of law enforcement agencies across Ontario, several others across Canada as well. Our focus in our first phase is Canadian law enforcement, but we've started building what our pipeline is looking like within the US as well.
Yeah. So that's awesome that it's field tested already. Like you've got the proofs in the pudding. You've done it. It works, and now it's just getting it out there and getting more awareness of the product out there. And it's on an app, so it's within your phone, so it's pretty straightforward, easily accessible, easily usable. Like you've just kind of crushed all the barriers.
We've tried to make it easy. I mean, and don't get me wrong, there are plenty of barriers for law enforcement these days. Even in a city like Edmonton, where we're a growing city and all of our services need to play a little bit of catch up to be able to get there. So if we can help remove some of those barriers, make it easier, that's kind of top of mind for us. Like you mentioned, this is deployed for officers on a mobile device, either on iOS or Android. And what we found across Canada is that most organizations have deployed various bits of technology to their officers, be it mobile phones, also body cams, in-car devices as well. So we're trying to sit on top of existing infrastructure that our law enforcement partners are already using.
Right. Maybe take me a little bit through your roots as well that's led this to become a reality, because this is just one company that you're looking to push out there. Just take me a little bit through your roots as well, just so people understand, your expertise and the level of expertise that you have.
So my entrepreneurial journey really started back over a decade ago. We built a product in the healthcare space, and my business partner and I, we joke a little bit like, we weren't terribly successful with it. We learned a lot about how to build a really great product. We didn't learn very well how to find a really great customer. So as we were coming out of that venture, we started working with other organizations, helping them build digital product. And from there, that's where PunchCard Systems was born. And we were so fortunate to have an incredible team at PunchCard, where we were able to incubate this product over the past little while to be able to take it to market. And that team is made up of product managers, designers, software developers, digital project managers, other areas of expertise, really focused on, like I said, building great digital product. And as we were building our vision for the next 10 years, we realized that the people that we were finding to join our team had an incredible amount of ambition, and we needed to build opportunities for them to be able to grow, scale, create wealth. And so part of our vision over the next 10 years is to build 10 new companies out of the PunchCard ecosystem. Standard Field Systems is our first experiment, we'll say. So far, I think we're being successful with it, but we're learning lots. We're iterating, we're experimenting, and we're developing patterns that I think will help us create a ton of value for our staff and for the community at large.
Yeah, and who knows what other industries you're going to be able to touch with this, and just talking to you off camera, your in-depth experience with a multitude of projects, whether it's through volunteering or working directly with from reach outs, just shines light on other opportunities.
Oh, 100%.
And you just never know what might come around the corner. So,
well, we're really lucky, I think, in Edmonton in general, where there's not a lot of barriers to people communicating. Now, I feel quite lucky. I get to live with a bunch of privilege, but the fundamental truth is people will give their time in Edmonton if you want to learn something. Yeah. And I think over the past couple of years, as we've worked with new clients, as we've worked with new organizations in the community, we get to learn so much about the different challenges that organizations get to solve. And I mean, that's where Standard Field Systems really came from, was we understood a challenge and we were able to connect that to a very real solution that would create value for the organizations we're serving.
You betcha. That's awesome. So now Standard Field Systems is being spotlighted here at Edmonton Unlimited with the Startup Weekend launch party. Kind of take us through a little bit of the relationship there and how that was cultivated and where some of the assistance happened and where you are today.
Yeah, I mean, my roots in Edmonton Unlimited go way back to the founding of Startup Edmonton, and over time, Startup Edmonton made its way into what is now Unlimited. I have a huge amount of affinity for this organization. The startup ecosystem is so important for all of us, right, in terms of the viability and the energy of our city, and I give my time as a mentor and as a providing input into programs as well within some of the accelerator programs, as well as just working with early stage startup founders.
Right.
I think it's one of those facts that many hands make light work.
Yeah.
And if we aren't mentoring each other, if we aren't helping build our ecosystem together, well, if we don't, who will?
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for coming on and sharing with us what your platform is all about, you yourself, and congratulations on being spotlighted with Edmonton Unlimited. And we're looking forward to seeing you at launch party with your pitch. And again, all the best of luck into the future. I think there's some pretty cool things coming out of you guys.
Thanks very much.
Absolutely.